They once called him the man who could make the impossible possible. Yet the World Championship remained elusive for Stirling Moss. Despite his undeniable talent, the ultimate crown of motor racing always slipped through his fingers. But in the grand scheme of things, it didn't matter. Almost 60 years ago, during Easter, Moss's life hung by a thread after a mysterious accident during the Glover Trophy race at Goodwood. The entire nation waited anxiously for news as Britain collectively held its breath concerned for its hero. Moss had become more than a racer. He was a beloved national figure. In his prime, Moss was the ultimate racer. Even though he never won the World Championship, he had an adoring public. He had achieved a rare status, becoming one of those few men who attain a level of admiration that transcends their sport. He was affectionately called Mr. Motor Racing. For decades, his name evoked such esteem that police officers stopping speeding drivers would jokingly ask, "Who do you think you are, Stirling Moss?" Stirling Moss became a household name in Britain, alongside the likes of footballer Stanley Matthews and boxer Henry Cooper. He was a constant feature in the public eye regardless of his activities. Whether it was historic racing, rallying, surviving a scooter accident, or even promoting products like Viagra, Moss remained a figure of fascination. And despite his wide public exposure, he rarely if ever attracted negative press. Even at age 80, Moss's resilience was legendary. After an accident in his Mayfair home where a malfunctioning lift caused him to fall 3 stories, breaking both ankles, he was walking again within weeks. His ability to recover physically and mentally after severe crashes was remarkable, much like in 1960, when he returned to racing only 7 weeks after suffering broken legs, back, and nose in a crash at Spa. His determination seemed boundless. While Moss cared deeply about not winning the title, particularly in the moment, he eventually came to terms with it. His greatest chance at the championship came in 1958, but even that opportunity slipped away. He won 4 races that season compared to rival Mike Hawthorne's one. Yet Hawthorne took the title by a single point. Ironically, Moss himself may have played a role in that outcome. At the Portuguese Grand Prix, when Hawthorne risked disqualification after a spin and a controversial re-entry to the track, it was Moss who defended him to the stewards. Had Moss kept silent, the title would have been his. But for Stirling Moss, the manner of racing was more important than the result. He believed that racing had to be about honor and integrity, and his actions in Portugal reflected that. For Moss, it wasn't enough to win. The way in which you race mattered more. As he once said, "It's a case of what winning means to you." By the end of 1958, Moss had come to terms with his unfulfilled dream of becoming world champion. His philosophy shifted. He still saw himself as a racer above all, someone who would rather lose a race driving fast enough to win than win by holding back. "I am a racer, not a driver." He often stressed, highlighting the distinction. He thrived on competition and found joy in the thrill of the race. Despite his growing legacy as one of the greatest drivers to have never won a championship, Moss's career was illustrious. He started 66 Grand Prix races, winning 16 of them, and was consistently in the top 3 in the World Championship standings for 7 consecutive years. His versatility extended beyond Formula One as he dominated in sports cars and touring cars, setting records and securing major victories across various disciplines. After his career-altering accident at Goodwood in 1962, Moss considered making a comeback, but realized that something fundamental had changed. He no longer had the mental sharpness or the instinctive edge that once defined him. Even though his lap times were still competitive, he could feel that his focus and concentration were not the same. In hindsight, he admitted he may have returned too early, driven by the pressure of public expectation and his own desire to race. Moss's impact on the sport transcended his results. He became a living legend, a symbol of resilience, honor, and passion. Even though he never won a championship, Moss found that this absence became a defining part of his legacy. "I've never won a world championship, and in some ways, that's been a blessing. It keeps people talking about me. I'm the man who should have won." Ultimately, Stirling Moss's career was not defined by the titles he didn't win, but by the spirit with which he raced. His sheer determination, sportsmanship, and unyielding love for the sport made him a champion in the eyes of millions. He once said that his greatest joy was coming out of a corner, looking in his rear-view mirror, and seeing his rival falling behind. For Moss, racing wasn't just about finishing first. It was about the thrill, the challenge, and the constant pursuit of perfection. Stirling Moss was more than just a racer. He was an icon of British motor racing, embodying a level of honor and resilience rarely seen. His influence extended far beyond the track, and his legacy remains firmly etched in the annals of racing history. Stirling Moss showed the world that being a true champion isn't just about winning titles. It's about how you play the game, the integrity you maintain, and the lasting impression you leave behind. Moss left us with that lesson, and as he departs, his name will forever be synonymous with greatness.
Hello McLaren faithfuls. If you loved this video, make sure to hit that like button, drop a comment below, and subscribe so you never miss any McLaren F1 updates with relaxing ASMR elements. Your support is what keeps this incredible community growing stronger every day. Let's continue the conversation and share our passion for McLaren F1 together. Discover my journey as a passionate creator navigating life with challenging disabilities. Despite the obstacles, I'm determined to follow my dreams and share my love for McLaren and F1 with the world. By becoming a patron, you'll not only be supporting my dream, but you'll also gain access to exclusive content, including untold stories of legendary F1 drivers and much more. Your support can truly make a difference in my life, helping me continue to do what I love. Click the link below and enjoy.